Hola, can you feel the energy? This is an amazing venue. We are growing by the year. Who would tell 3 years on that we would be by the beach with this amazing crowd, amazing speakers, amazing venue. This is Algarve. This is what Algarve is all about, and thank you so much for being here. We are on Friday afternoon. We are the sole guys between yourselves and the well-deserved weekend, but let's not leave you without the inspiration, the much-needed inspiration to the tourist leaders that I see here on the audience. Thank you so much for attending. And help me welcome on stage, first and foremost, Sofia Ançã. Sofia Ançã, she's a globetrotter, global leader. Thank you so much for attending, Virginia. Sofia, she is an experienced cultural leader. She's been humanitarian. She's board member, and she will share her views on innovation and culture. So the panel is obviously not complete. I beg you take your seat, perhaps in the middle of the other panels. It matches. It needs to match. It needs to match so that people do not get confused. And without further ado, Nuno António, dear friend. Não vais lá beijinho. Dear friend, professor, data scientist, an inspiration, and one of the founding members of this association. He's a driving force of technology and innovation in the Algarve. Thank you so much for joining us, Nuno António. And now, somebody that always brings great insights, and he's a troublemaker. I hope he hasn't bailed on us. Ignacio, where are you? AI native digital agency. This guy has been creating amazing digital products all across. He's innovative at heart. And I asked them two things on the build-up to this panel. I've asked them to be equipped with two things. One is their current magic wand. How do they perform innovation? And how do they bring innovation to the businesses they work with? And the second thing I will ask them is to look into their own crystal balls and to tell what's next. So without further ado, I'll pass on to them, to Sofia Ançã. Sofia, what are you doing with your magic wand, and how are you performing change and bringing innovation to tourism and hospitality industries?
So basically, hi everyone, good afternoon. So I'm what we call cross-cultural strategist, and I have, of course, a background in hospitality and tourism. And one of the things that I would say first, and I will base my speech in 3 facts. One, you can be a leader and have a diverse team and not necessarily be a cross-cultural leader. Why am I saying this? A cross-cultural leader is someone that is basically involved and have the ability to develop the team that comes from different backgrounds, and you know how confusing it is when you mix various cultures. And basically you are allowed, and you have the cultural intelligence, you have the cross-cultural dynamics enabling this team to work together despite all their cultural differences. For example, every culture impacts on the way you think, on the way you solve problems, on the organizational structure. So this is very, very important. You are not a leader just because you have a multicultural team. You are a cross leader only when you have cross-cultural interaction and awareness and cultural intelligence. So this is the first thing that it is. Combining this with the second reality is worldwide known now that the most diverse is your team, the better chance you have to have a creative environment and, of course, an innovative environment. This is actually been a fact nowadays. And now we're talking about 2 industries that historically has always been involved with multiculturalism, which is tourism and hospitality, and you've always been involved with cross-cultural relations. The only thing I would say is, if you are a leader in these 2 industries, make sure that if you did not have the chance yet to develop yourself in cultural intelligence, please do so. because we often talk about globalization. The world is shrinking. Tech is allowing this. So while we think that the globalization is increasing, it is proved that cultural intelligence is actually decreasing. So many of you may be leading a hotel. Just first, a curiosity, who here is actually in a hotel business and tourism business?
Raise your hand, guys.
Okay, please raise your hand. Okay. So if you really want to thrive in what is coming next and the future, please make sure that you incorporate into your leadership cultural intelligence. Why am I saying this? You want to innovate. You want to bring, or I don't like to use the word innovation only when it refers to something new, because innovation is not all the time something new. It's optimizing what you already have and give a solution to a problem that you have within your teams, or how you can perform better to give the best service to your clients. So when it comes to this, and you have a diverse team, you want to get the optimal efficiency from this team. And the only way to do that is to understand them. In cross-cultural dynamics, we have one thing that we always go by when it comes to innovation, at least leaders that are aware of that. In cross-cultural dynamics, we say we don't go by the golden rule. What is the golden rule? The golden rule is treat the others the way I would like to be treated. And I've seen many, many leaders in hospitality and tourism, when the training process with their teams, what they do, they always say, please treat the guests the way you would like to be treated. Sorry to say, this is not the good technique. Actually, if you are in a cross-cultural leadership, you should treat the others the way they want to be treated. So put that in your mind, and every innovation and every project that you will work with within your team, you will understand one thing. It will be much more efficient if you know how they lead with problem solving, how they bring creativity. Culture impacts everything you do, and even more when you are in a creative environment and you want to be able to have your team on your side, collaborating together. And if every member of your team has a different perspective in life, a different way of thinking, a different approach to problems, if you do not know how to combine that efficiently, you will lose that innovation and that project may be working for short term. But if you want to globalize that project, if you want to globalize and bring that innovation out there, please make sure that you know how to deal with them. And one of the things that is known, actually, a study just came out, 14% of leaders involved actually with diverse teams, only 14% have what we call cultural intelligence. And this is something that is lacking. So talk about globalization, bring cultural intelligence to your day-by-day days.
Amazing, amazing. This is a golden nugget. This is the platinum rule, not the golden rule. This is the platinum rule that we've been reading about. And it's not only useful for the tourism and hospitality, but it's useful across the board. Myself, as an executive in a technology company, I would definitely use it, because we've been using people from all across the globe, and we need to understand, we need to communicate better, we need to be to elevate further.
Definitely. And for example, a lot of the people think, oh, you know, I have a diverse team. You are in Portugal, you are managing a hotel, and basically this diverse team is in front of you. Yes, but they've been contaminated, and I'm using expressly this word, they've been contaminated by local culture. So they have already been transformed. When I mean cross-cultural leadership, is basically you taking fresh people, they just came to work probably with you on a project. And one of the advice that I'm giving you, and I was in charge of 11 countries in Asia through product and service innovation, and we're talking about Asia, for those that are involved with innovation, it's another world, another organization. But basically, the only thing we would always guarantee is you working on a project, and if they want to bring that innovation towards, let's say, 4 countries, make sure that you have people around you from those 4 countries that will challenge your mindset, that will bring a completely new idea. They work differently. People from another countries work differently. They have different organization, different mindsets. They approach themselves differently to innovation, to creativity. So be smart. If you really want your innovation to thrive out there, involve yourself from people from those countries. I know it's costly at the time, but you will see your innovation with a much longer term of surviving.
Wow, that's quite a magic wand. Brace yourselves for the crystal ball that Sofia has brought. Now down to Nuno António. On the build-up to the panel, we've been discussing what he has been doing over his 20 years of career. He has been exploring and experimenting with data science, and lately with AI. What are you up to now?
Thank you, Jorge. So hello, everyone. So yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for making me younger. 20 years of work. Yeah, I work for 30 now. Yeah, I'm older. I'm the guy with the gray hair in here. Yeah. So I've been working, and my background is software engineering, but I've been working with hotels and tourism because mostly I started here in the Algarve, and I started working in a time where reservations came to the hotel in a telex. Anyone knows what it is, a telex? Yeah. So it's something like that. Probably if I ask, then they arrive by fax. Even some already don't know what is a fax. Okay. So then they arrived by email, and so at that time in letters, even on a letter. These days that's impossible. So I've been seeing this huge transformation in hotels. These days, you use online distribution. Hotels have channel managers. They are connected directly to Booking.com, to Expedia, to other online agencies, and everything is done through computers automatically. But that was not the case then. So there was this big evolution. So things like electronic invoicing, for example. And even on Portugal, compared to other industries, tourism and hospitality was one of the first industries that was using electronic invoicing. But still these days, it's not the norm. Usually hotels and other companies invoice electronically from one computer to the other, just for big companies. Other than that, there is still someone in the middle doing that. But what is the value of having a human being doing an invoice if a computer can do it? It's not adding value. We want people to do human tasks, talking to the guests, giving them some local experience. So not doing stuff that a computer can do. That's where we can do innovation. Sometimes it's the law or the compliance that make us go through. For example, by 2028 in Europe, it will be mandatory for all companies in business to be business that they invoice electronically. So that will force companies also to go for innovation or digital transformation, as we were saying. Sometimes it's a matter of compliance, so the politicians make us advance.
They innovate because they are made innovate. They are forced
to innovate, exactly. So in some situations that happen, but there are others like using cloud solutions. So when I started working, some hotels didn't even add a computer. Then they start having hardware computers in. Now everything is cloud-based or almost cloud-based. You don't have computers, you just use the cloud. So it's a natural process of using technology. But then you also have other stuff like domotics. These days, most hotels, especially the biggest one even in the Algarve, that happens a lot as well, they have solutions for everything to be centralized in terms of domotics. If someone lets a fridge open for 10 minutes, it will give a warning. It will send a message to the mobile of the manager. And you could think, okay, this is good in also for sustainability reasons. For example, if you don't have guests on one of the floors, why having the lights on? You can turn it off. It's also good for sustainability, of course, but it pushes us because costs go down. So it's good also for hotels in terms of costs. So there are a lot of things that technology can help hotels.
And these already helping, actually. It's on the day-to-day life, but you're not only looking towards the future, it's actually something, the future is now. And lots of hotels around here in the Algarve are already implementing comprehensive sustainability programs. But what you're claiming, perhaps we can up the pace, actually.
Yes, because if you, let's say, touch the pocket, it's even better. It will push you. It's not just
the most sensitive. That's a learning that I've got from my economic teacher at university. It's the most sensitive part of the human body, the pocket. So if they feel in their economies, in their pockets, they will move ahead with innovation.
Innovation with technology. And of course, you're saying about the future and using data-driven technology. So
leave it to the second one, because I'll ask you to look into your crystal ball later. Now let's call this gentleman here, l'agent provocateur. He's always the troublemaker of these round tables, and I invited him because he has been championing the implementation and the creation of digital products, and also embedding already AI into them. I know it's still early days, but tell us a little bit about how this is already impacting the tourism and hospitality experiences, and as well with the customer experience in that area.
Hey everyone. First of all, I'm not a troublemaker. I'm more of a disruptor per se. Usually I work with companies on breaking their entire internal systems, that's the idea, and then rebuilding them with modern technology. We are now on the third wave, before internet, with internet, and now AI. And the entire user journey, let's call it on the user side, not on the business side yet, but on the customer journey side, everything can be done different and better and automated. And that's how I work with companies to achieve that. I'm going to give you a few examples so you understand what we're talking about. I'm working with some companies where the entire web experience changes in real time. So one of the things that's extremely important is the cultural understanding. Imagine that all of the pictures of the website will change in real time, adapting to the culture of the people that are visiting the website, without the need of manual interaction. And those are the sort of things that we are trying to achieve, change, and understand, which is the why people do certain kind of things. So I work from departments, from management to marketing to sales, and everything that we do from top to bottom needs to change, is going to change, and everything that we do on a daily basis, it's assumably wrong by default. And that's what I do. We upgrade the sales channel with AI, we change customer communication, customer support, price attribution, marketing content, it's automated.
In essence, it's technology, it's driving the business. It's an overall impact across the board, the whole organization. It's not only to
Correct.
the bottom line. It's transformational change, fundamental change that we're witnessing now.
Correct. So each company will have their own challenges, their own, let's say, costs. Now talking from the company side, they know exactly which costs they have, what they want to optimize. Usually it's going to cost more, which they're going to go to the pocket per se. But understanding the challenges that we have is going to cost more, let's say, on the first 2 weeks, because you're going to build proof of concepts, you need to test. We know that AI hallucinates, so you need to be aware of that. But eventually, you come to a point where everything is like 90% automated on what we do today, and then we can focus on what's really important, which is the second question that you're going to ask afterwards.
Yeah. Well, we need to leave some minutes to look into your crystal balls. We are running out of time. I don't know if you guys are aware, but we have a timer here. Something it looks like about to explode around here. But going to Sofia and considering globalization, as we've discussed, what must future innovations in hospitality and tourism focus on? What they really must have in order to effectively integrate this cultural awareness that you were discussing prior? What's the key element?
Sometimes when we talk about innovation, we have that tendency to think, and I think Diogo from the panel before mentioned this, when you're trying to get involved with innovation, not everything needs to be start from zero. Not everything in innovation represents new. The reason of innovation is also taking what exists and be efficient with it and optimize it in a way that it works. And in hospitality and tourism service, what we've noticed is that you sometimes don't leverage what you have. For example, if I had to talk about data, there is a lot of data going on. If these two colleagues of mine on the panel, they are well aware of that, they're involved with tech. I'm less involved with tech. But basically, if you leverage what you have so much information in your hands. And what I've noticed from tourism and hospitality brands, basically, they don't leverage that information. And they are not aware of how they can profit from that information towards their guests and even towards their teams. Because most of the times, you have the information and just someone did not teach you how to use it. It can be. Innovation is going so fast, then whatever platform you're using now, tomorrow may be inefficient. So if you don't catch up, for me, the essential to respond to your question, Jorge, is basically two things. Please use and learn the data that you already have in your hands. You understand how simple it will be to personalize your guests, to increase and improve your loyalty programs, to understand probably how to efficiently take care of your teams as well. You know, you always talk about the pocket, like George likes that name. So talk about the pocket, the money, every time. But there is optimization behind that. There is optimization the way you structure the schedules of your teams, the way you welcome your guests. Why are you always looking to discounts? Discounts are actually a very bad subject and a bad result from brands that are not innovative enough, so they have to compensate us through discounts to attract clients. Normal high-end brands don't do that. Ask yourself why. Because they optimize every single resource that they have. And the second thing I would insist in terms of innovation, future innovation, or just optimize what you have, please modernize your training supports, the developments of your teams, the way you train your teams. One of the things every global leader that I've dealt with, the brands of hospitality, I've noticed one thing. The trainings always focus on two subjects. One, the technical side of the job. Okay, it's understandable. You are both industries involved with a very hard and tough workforce. Lack of personnel. They always come at the last minute. You hire them, you have to put them into the jungle, and you have very little time to train them. Now, the second thing is, you don't add to that training, so you have the technical side and you have the SOPs. Okay, we all know every brand has their own standards. It's okay. But what about adding cultural intelligence? You know how many hospitality brands in the world actually have training in hospitality, in the cultural awareness and intelligence? 20%. And basically, most of the 20% of those brands are either high-end or they want to survive, because that's the future tomorrow. And one of the things that we understand, you know, earlier when I was talking about the platinum rule, we have to change in those two industries one mentality. People come to Portugal, yes, they will try to adapt to the culture. But when we are in hospitality industry and tourism industry, we have to adapt ourselves to them as well. Many brands around the world have understood that, and they're surviving through that. For example, you are welcoming a Japanese. Everybody knows Japanese likes to eat early. So what do? They optimize and schedule the restaurants in a different manner. This is what we call having the cultural intelligence in such important industries like tourism and
thank you so much, Sofia. We could be on and on all afternoon listening to you. It's fascinating and it's super impactful. I think you guys brought your notebooks because this is lessons to be learned. And now down to the very practical side of it. You've been working with clients from the hospitality sector, from the tourism sector. How can they use technology and innovation to make their customer experiences better, more personalized?
Okay, trying to answer that in 30 seconds.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, first of all, like Sofia was saying, we need, or companies need, first of all, to have a systematic collection of data. So if you don't have data, AI to work needs data to be trained. We need to train models. We need to build models based on the data. We need to understand patterns, trends, what happened in the past. So if companies don't have a systematic approach to store data, to treat data, then everything else,
short.
Yeah, it will not work. So first of all, let's start with the first step Sofia said of, yeah, let's have a systematic way of collecting the data. And then it's a matter of, there are companies like Ignacio was companies and others that provide this technology to hotels and to tourism, where you could implement, based on the AI, you can personalize your products. You can create better experience for customers. You can these days, there is this lack of resources. We already mentioned this these days as well. But you can use robots. You can use automation with artificial intelligence. And when we say robots, many people, when we're talking about robots, they see like a humanoid robot, like the one from Tesla now, in front of the reception.
Optimus.
That's not what I'm talking about, okay? A robot could be something like a robot, an agent, reading the emails and answering some emails automatically. Others emails, capturing just an email and say, okay, this is a reservation. Why should someone just open the PMS software and copy the reservation from the email to that system and then clicks OK? A robot can do that. So what, for example, in here it is not, but I'm a professor at Nova, and we have a tourism analytics lab and a marketing lab, and we've been conducting research on this area. And all of our research points to when we ask people, guests in hotels, do you want to have a robot talking to you in a face-to-face relationship? They don't want to see robots. They want to still continue to see people. But if you ask, in the back end, like your reservations, or if you contact someone asking for a question, do you mind if the first answer comes from a robot? No problem. So in face-to-face relations, they don't want to see the robot, but on the back services, there are a lot of space for improvement in back office operations. And these days, artificial intelligence, robots, in efficiency and smart systems, there are a lot of places to apply technology.
It started to blink. It started to blink. Somebody's trying to convey a message. It's technology. Technology is going on. Ignacio,
I have 10 seconds, right?
No. You have the time enough to unsettle us because
Okay.
that's what you do best.
So one of the things that I'm working with, it's called AI telepathy, where what we're trying to achieve is understanding more of the customer than what they know about themselves. For that, foreseeing 10 years from now, combining automation, data, and AI, the goal is going to be very simple. So using your iPhone already or your Apple Watch, Apple already detects problems on your heart rate, will contact the hospital automatically, etc. So what the studies are coming is that, through bio information, we can customize the entire user journey. I'm going to give an example again. On the hotel room where the light is structured in a way for them to sleep better because they have sleep apnea or they have problem sleeping. So the entire, again, customer journey is going to be 100% AI-based from if they are Japanese and they eat earlier, the robots will be on the kitchen preparing the meal just for that customer. So the idea is we're going from account-based sales or marketing or journeys to hyper-personalized where we are today. We're going to go to 100% predictive and customized journeys where you do a booking in New York and they will have already the entire schedule that you need, that you don't know that you need, prepared for you to arrive to you to guide you to the most amazing experience that you had to have. So for this to happen, you need automation, robotics, AI, and of course, the customer in the entire journey.
It looks bright, isn't it? Let's make it happen. Let's make it happen here in the Algarve. Thank you so much, guys.